Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well. First and foremost, before we get into anything, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded, and follow me on Twitch. After this upload, or the video you're watching after it's been uploaded, I will be live streaming on Twitch. We'll smash through some Chelsea career mode on FIFA once again. And yeah, I hope we can win some games, unlike real life where we're drawing now all the time. But that's the topic of the video. I wanted to do a little video on what I hope Frank Lampard is trying to do. Because I think it's safe to say all of us that have watched Chelsea recently have been asking a couple of questions. A couple of questions as to what are we trying to do? Have we actually sorted out our defensive issues? And is there a hope that very soon we're going to find the balance that we need in the team? And is that what we're working towards? I'm going to dig deep into it, and there's one player I want to talk about, and I'm going to mention that towards the end of this video. So, let's get into it. What is Frank Lampard trying to do? If you look prior to our game against Southampton, or actually the game against Southampton was the last one, where we were really good going forward. Especially with Timo Werner and Kai Havertz and some of the new signings, Ziyech coming on when he could. But we were good going forward. We showed, creativity. We showed a desire. And we created a lot of chances for ourselves. Now, we're putting them away. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. However, we are scoring in games. Or we have been scoring in games up until lately. But before the Sevilla game, Southampton and before that, we were scoring goals. The only problem is we were conceding a lot. And we came to the consensus collectively that defensively we've got a problem. Now, we've always seemed to line up with a 4-2-3-1. I'm talking about this season, not last season with the 4-3-3, but this season with Kai Havertz as the number 10, we've been lining up with a 4-2-3-1 as it prioritizes having a number 10, which is Kai Havertz's prime position, and we have a lone striker up front, which is what Timo Werner thrives in. So that makes sense. All the sense in the world. Now, as I've said, we've been scoring goals. Defensively, we've looked all over the place. Frank Lampard has clearly put this as number one priority, and he should. Right thing to do. But against Sevilla, you could say we were really solid. But we were ball watching a lot. We were allowing Sevilla to play their game. And overall, we weren't creating much. Yesterday against Man United, I thought we would see a different game. I thought we would see a different approach. But it was clear. It was clear that we were chasing the 0-0. And against the Man United side, you could say were kind of doing the same. Not to the same extent as us. But in the back of their heads, you could see that they would take a draw. They would take it. Even though they've beaten PSG and they've beaten Newcastle, and the loss before that was, Tottenham 6-1, and it's a heavy defeat. As I said in my preview, I don't think they fully recovered from that, and yesterday showed, which is why I was a little bit, not angry. I was a little bit disappointed in the fact that I know Man United are not all there 100%. They're not confident. They're not, they are there for the taking. Why were we scared? And that's why we saw the game that we saw. 0-0, quite boring, very lackluster, both sides quite fearful, nothing really happened. Man United, though, ended up with 4 shots on target. Mendy got tested on 3 occasions, and we ended up on 1. I don't even remember Man United's goalkeeper having much of a game. Did David De Gea touch anything? I don't think he did. He made 1 save. I mean, it goes to show. It goes to show that we have what it takes to go and score and take it to them. We just have some sort of mental block. And I can understand, defensively, as I've said, we've looked a bit all over the place. But is Frank Lampard really sabotaging us going up front and attacking because he wants to make sure that we are solid defensively? Now, I don't think that's the best approach. I think we can continue what we were doing, but just make it a priority that everyone has to contribute defensively and everyone has to be a little bit more intense and a little bit more aggressive. Simple as that. Close down the spaces, be a little bit more physical. The key to that is that you're going to be running a bit more. That's it. And you have to put yourself on the line and you have to be willing to get hurt. That is it. You put that into application. If you apply that, we don't need to cut ourselves off from scoring and attacking. No, it just needs to be a little bit more of a physical nature to our game. And I hope Frank Lampard, even though he's done it for 2 games now, but I hope now that he sees Chelsea can, well, I don't want to say sit back because, just sitting back and doing nothing isn't productive. But when we do sit back, that we are solid enough. And hopefully that starts to build a little bit more confidence, both in the players and in him as a manager. That way, we can use that as a base and start pushing ourselves a little bit more forward, The worst thing that can happen now is when Frank Lampard does tell his team, let's try and push up a bit, that we forget all of our defensive duties and we end up back at square one where we are conceding 3. That's my concern. And that's why I think we can apply both sides of the game simultaneously. You don't need to completely cut yourself off of attacking and pushing forward and trying to score goals and being brave. You just have to, at the training ground, work harder, be more physical, put some more fitness training into the team. I don't know, something to get the physical nature of the team up to a standard where we can rely on everyone contributing to defending, as well as not tiring ourselves out to push ourselves forward and attack and score. There can be both. Now, is that going to take time? I'd like to think with 200 million spent and the quality of players that we have in the team, that it shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take that long, So I'm hoping Frank Lampard has developed a morale in the team that is now confident defensively that we can push up and try and score goals, without sabotaging ourselves defensively either. That's what I'm saying. You can have a balance of both, and I hope that is what we are working towards, and I hope that is what we're going to achieve soon, because the whole nature of just relying on one or the other isn't going to take ourselves forward. Now, one thing in relation to the system that we play, not necessarily the formation, I'm not talking about the style of play, the system that we play, how are we structured to play our football? N'Golo Kante has been a subject of criticism over the last 24 hours, online, specifically online. I think all the criticism nowadays is done online. But, you're here now, aren't you? We're not innocent. But N'Golo Kante's been spoken about. And he's been blamed. Quite a few people are saying, he's been poor. And, he has the right to be criticised. And we got to point criticism at him. He's been poor. Now, a lot of people saying that offensively, he's not doing much. And he can't attack. He can't, push forward, and he can't pass forward. And I'm thinking, really? Did we forget the Kante of last season when he was asked to attack by Frank Lampard? Did we forget the Kante under Maurizio Sarri where offensively he was so influential? Did we forget that? I understand and I know where they're coming from, but I don't blame those mistakes that we see him making, especially with the passes where they get intercepted. Not by him, but the passes he's making, and it doesn't get to the man that he's trying to pass to. I understand that, you can criticize a player for, not completing the pass correctly. Cool. But I don't blame him as he is making the mistakes. It's down to him. No. There's a deeper issue here. Especially yesterday. Because yesterday is what he's getting criticised for. And yesterday, it was absolutely inevitable that Kante and Jorginho were going to struggle offensively. It was inevitable, and I'll explain why. There seems to be a tendency with Chelsea now, and I don't get it. This is my one criticism of Frank Lampard. I don't understand why we always have to pass backwards. I don't get it. Because, and this is why I'm saying we had fear and we had a little bit, we were scared to an extent. Because there were options, especially Kante and Jorginho, when they did press up a little higher. And the ball was with our fullbacks, for example, or with our centre-backs. Or every time we pushed forward, our wingers would retrieve the ball and come inside, and they'd have an option in the middle They wouldn't take it. They'd go back. Even though the option is there. And you have to apply a level of bravery to make the pass, because there always is a chance that you're going to lose possession and it's going to get intercepted. But if the ball makes it to that player, we are in on goal. We are in on goal, and we now have an option for Timo Werner to link up with. And this was my frustration. We would never take the risk. We always pass backwards. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why we always pass backwards. We always allow United or the other opposition, because this happens in multiple games, to get back into shape, take all the time, everyone get into their positions. Yep, no problem. All right, and now we've made our lives 10 times harder. And not just that. Every time we do pass back, there are some teams that decide to press. Like United yesterday, there were moments where they were pressing. And we apply pressure to ourselves because we're not booting the ball long anymore. We just start passing in between ourselves. United players are pressing and they're closing in. Oh, we're going to lose the ball. If we keep this up, we are going to lose the ball. And what happens? Sometimes we end up losing the ball. And we put ourselves under this needless, completely unnecessary pressure. Kante yesterday would get the ball in central midfield. Pulisic, because Pulisic was his closest winger, but Pulisic, and even before Ziyech came on, but Havertz on the right-hand side, they'd get locked out of the game. They would be man-marked. You can't pass the ball to them because you will lose possession. So who does Kante have in front of him? He doesn't have a number 10, because we ain't playing a 4-2-3-1. We're playing a 3-4-3. They're the only two central midfielders. Jorginho's the only man next to him. Timo Werner is the only man in front of him now. So what's his only option? Pass backwards. And that is what Kante was doing. Consistently. Passing backwards, going sideways, passing backwards. Why? There was no one in front of him to pass the ball to. Except for the few moments that he would. But every time he would try and get the ball to Pulisic, for example, or try and get the ball to Kai Havertz, but more than not, it would be Kante to Pulisic, he'd lose the ball. Because United had a system in place that were marking. And this is my issue. That's why I wouldn't have gone with a 3-4-3 yesterday. And I understand why Frank done it, because he wanted us to be secure defensively. But ultimately, it was at the expense of us going to try and attempt and score goals. It was. And you need to find the balance to do both. You can't just choose one over the other. But I hope, as I said, that Frank Lampard has applied this, and now it gives some players some confidence to be defensively solid. You know, to make them think, yeah, you know what, we got this. And hopefully it gets them past a mental block. I hope that's the case. If that's not the case, I think we're going to see some more issues. But I hope that we now can turn a corner. We've got Krasnodar, and then we've got Burnley, and then we've got Rennes. So 2 Champions League games with a Premier League game in between. I hope we're going to see ourselves turn a corner and start winning some games. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that we are about to turn a corner? Do you think that we have now created some confidence in ourselves defensively? Or do you think that Frank Lampard has, prioritized one over the other, and now if we were to shift back to attacking, we're going to leave ourselves exposed? Let me know how you think it's going to go down. I would love to hear it. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Follow me on Twitch, as I said. Straight after, I am going to be live streaming. So make sure you go over there after you've watched this, and let's play some FIFA and let's play some career mode. But I will see all of you there. Thank you all so much for watching. Look after yourselves. Have a good one. Take care and peace.